शिवानी बैठिए।
थैंक यू सर।
तो इंटरव्यू हिंदी में है या इंग्लिश में?
सर इंग्लिश।
ओके, अभी जस्ट आई एम ट्राइंग टू सी। तो पहले इंट्रोड्यूस कीजिए पैनल को 2 मिनट में, अपने बारे में बताइए।
So my name is Sakshi Nagar. I come from Jaipur, Rajasthan. I have done my graduation in BA Honours Political Science from the IAS deemed university, and thereafter I went on to pursue post-graduation from St. Wilfrid College, Rajasthan University.
Okay.
This is my second attempt at civil services and my first interview, and I'm a determined and hardworking person with good leadership skills. Thank you.
Very good.
Yes, ma'am. My hobbies are calligraphy, social volunteering, and reading about national and international affairs.
ओके, बहुत अच्छा। सो अभी आपने ऑप्शनल पोल साइंस लिया हुआ है,
जी सर।
ठीक है ना? और आपकी सिविल सर्विसेज के चॉइस जो मेरे को दिख रहे हैं, आईएएस, हाँ, मतलब आईएएस, आईपीएस, आईएफएस एंड देन आईआरएस, दोनों तरह के, ठीक है। तो आपसे पोल साइंस से रिलेटेड कुछ सवाल पूछता हूँ मैं।
इंग्लिश मीडियम।
हाँ हाँ, ठीक है। भारत की पड़ोसी विदेश नीति, ओह सॉरी, इंग्लिश, हाँ मैं हिंदी सोच के आगे बढ़ रहा हूँ। लेट अस देन बिगिन टू आस्क यू क्वेश्चंस ऑन द इंडियाज नेबरहुड पॉलिसी। आप बताएं, आर यू कंफर्टेबल विथ व्हाट इज हैपनिंग इन इंडियाज नेबरहुड? आर यू सेटिस्फाइड और देयर आर सर्टेन सिग्नल्स ऑफ डिस्कम्फर्ट from the India's neighborhood foreign policy? क्या ख्याल है आपका?
So India is surrounded by a very diverse neighborhood, and in South Asia we see that the countries are kind of new democracies, and there's also some instability since a long time in different countries. But India's neighborhood policy, through India's policy, India has been able to ride through these challenges. And as we see that even if some challenges come forth, such as came in Maldives, India is able to meet them and ensure that India's national interests are met, along with maintaining India's soft power as well as good relations and diplomatic relations with the countries.
Okay. What are the areas where India needs to pay extra attention in the neighborhood?
So as in the countries or the aspects?
Yeah, I mean, whatever. From the external security point of view, what areas India need to give emphasis?
So firstly, I would say that India needs to focus on building relationship with institutions rather than with leaders, so that the relationship is in the long term and it does not get affected by any political changes that happen in the countries. Secondly, sir, India should promote goodwill as well as respect. It should not be on just purely non-reciprocal basis. Rather, countries should be ready to give India what it needs in terms of security aspects.
Very good. That is excellent. What you are saying is absolutely correct as far as all the neighboring countries are concerned to India, except one. Which one is that? In the neighborhood, I'm still on the neighborhood.
So,
reciprocal, you spoke, all that things, you know.
Sir, the two countries which I am able to think of are Pakistan and China.
Okay, I was more talking about China. Right. So, what is your assessment? You think India can tackle and handle a country which is heavier than us and not favorably inclined or disposed to us? What should India do? How should make China fall in line?
So India and China don't have any civilizational conflict. The conflict mainly started since the colonial times. So we see that there are aspects that India can improve its relations with China. But seeing the current situation, especially the border situation, it seems to be difficult. But on the other hand, we see that there have been some disengagements as well on the border. So that shows that India and China can both move ahead, especially seeing the economic side of the relations. Both need to develop as fast as possible. And both are Asian powers. So if they come together, only then the Asian century will be a success.
Okay, you are presuming Asian century.
Yes.
I don't think China follows that or China wants that. China wants Chinese century.
Right.
So is that clear? I mean, can we ourselves kind of keep this dream for us that we are together with China in Asian century? When China doesn't want us, you think we should still continue to say that it is Asian century, or we should be more realistic?
Sir, I think it has to be Asian century because China alone or India alone can't move forward. There are many challenges in the world. Even if China wishes to be a hegemon, that is not a very practical thing. Even USA is there. So if China and India can move ahead, then Asian century would be a more practical idea.
Okay, I wish you come out absolutely correct in future, but let's see. China doesn't think like that. China thinks of century in Asia to be a Chinese century.
Yes.
I'm making myself clear to you.
Yes, sir.
And India wants to tag along or go without China also to call itself Asian century. We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much. Well done, madam.
Right.
वीडियो में आगे बढ़ने से पहले यूपीएससी का रिजल्ट आ चुका है। अनअकैडमी की तरफ से सभी यूपीएससी एस्पिरेंट्स को हार्दिक बधाइयां और इस खास दिन को सेलिब्रेट करने के लिए हम लाए हैं अब तक का सबसे बड़ा ऑफर। प्रीलिम्स 2026 की तैयारी सिर्फ 19,999 में और साथ ही मिलेगा 12 महीने तक का फ्री एक्सटेंशन भी। इंडिया के टॉप एजुकेटर्स और बेस्ट कंटेंट के साथ ये है अब तक का लोएस्ट प्राइस। तो देर किस बात की, आज ही एनरोल करें। IAS बनने का पहला कदम आज से। लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में है। एनरोल नाउ।
So you are interested in national international affairs. You seems to be reading about it. Tell me, what is the relation of US with Latin America and Mexico now? What are the problems?
Ma'am, historically the Latin American countries have been more under the influence of the former USSR and now Russia because of their socialist inclination, and even they have feared kind of dominance by USA, and the same trend kind of prevails now as well. Even during the Ukraine crisis, we saw that not many countries were ready to support USA and USA's ideas. Even as recently we see that the Panama Canal issue has emerged, and that has created more tension between the US and Latin America relations.
What is the issue?
Ma'am, basically the issue is that USA handed over Panama Canal after constructing it to Panama, and on the condition that Panama will allow unrestricted access to the canal for USA on nominal charges. But now USA is alleging that Panama is charging too much and is also not able to maintain the canal, so it wants it back.
You tell me, as far as the trade relations are concerned for India, is it that we have completely lost in becoming a manufacturing hub? How China handled its big population by becoming a manufacturing hub. Now India seems to be completely lost that opportunity. What will you say?
Ma'am, definitely China has progressed much faster on that front, and India has lagged behind, but we see that with Make in India and PLI and such other schemes, we are making a move ahead. For example, India now is an exporter of smartphones. Earlier it was in the negative, but now we're exporting. Also, India has become a major exporter of toys as well. As we see that semiconductor fabrication units are also going to come up. So in terms of manufacturing also, now India is moving forward, though India needs some policies similar to China, such as bigger SEZs and export oriented policies.
Where we are still lacking,
Yes.
yeah, as you say. Okay, you tell me one thing, that in India, within India, say you are also reading about national issues, there seems to be emerging a very strong north-south divide, whether it is politically, economically, right?
Yes.
So what do you think, how to handle it, or will it increase more and more as the time goes by?
Ma'am, the north-south divide dates back to a long time, and as you mentioned, the issues are multidimensional, be it political, economic, and even linguistic issues are there. So ma'am, since India is a diverse and democratic country, India can very well handle this problem with democratic accommodation only. And it's important that, for example, the concerns of the states in southern India should also be accounted for in the conditions of the Finance Commission. For example, the population which is to be counted, as well as the tax devolution and the revenue sharing ratio, those should be decided upon with proper consultation and discussion, and that can be a good starting point.
What can be the flashpoint which everybody is fearing? Some event which is scheduled in coming few years.
Sorry, ma'am.
Delimitation, have you heard?
Yes.
Delimitation?
Yes.
When is it scheduled?
Ma'am, it's scheduled, I think, 2025.
6.
Okay, sorry.
Right. And why do you think in past 30 years back it was sort of stopped, frozen, status quoist? What were the reasons then? Are the same reasons prevailing now?
Ma'am, the major reason and the most important reason was to ensure that the southern states are not disincentivized for the progress that they have made on the front of population control. And as of now, we see that India has reached the replacement level of total fertility rate, that is 2.1. So now that does not remain that big a problem. However,
No, India has reached. But what about few of the states?
yes, ma'am. Some states such as UP and Bihar, they have higher fertility rates. But ma'am, with delimitation, we can ensure that democracy does not suffer and proper representation.
How? Based on population.
Yes, ma'am.
Then, if you win UP, Bihar, you form the parliament. You become the government. Rest of the country don't bother.
Ma'am, definitely some states are an exception, but largely if we see, it's important to ensure that there is a proportionality in terms of representation. So the other states may also suffer because of that. So we can work on the front of those states which have not achieved it yet, but it's important to ensure that democracy functions in a better way.
Okay.
Sakshi, you have done political science.
Yes.
That was a brilliant academic record, 10 out of 10 in MA, very difficult to get.
Thank you, sir. In BA.
You are aspiring for IAS.
Yes.
Now, what do you think are the most important qualities of an administrator?
So some of the important qualities which I see of an administrator are the ability to work well in a team, to take the team together, leadership skills, decision making skills, good emotional intelligence, and the ability to handle pressure as well as deal with different situations.
So far as Indian bureaucracy is concerned, where do you find they are lacking these qualities?
So Indian bureaucracy is a great institution. It is the steel frame of India. But sometimes we see that some concerns come forward which lead to debates over lacking of some qualities, such as the political pressure which may happen at times, and also some decision making. For example, even in some riots, it is sometimes seen that bureaucracy may not be able to handle. However, situations are different.
Now, till 1967, we had one nation, one poll.
Yes.
That is how it has been going on. Now, what has changed from 1967 till now, which raises a question mark on one nation, one poll?
So it was functioning till 1967, but then after that, as the state assemblies got dissolved and there were differences in the election calendars of different states and the union, that was primarily what led to the dysfunctioning of the system of one nation, one election. Also, sir, there have been different political parties and the federal system of India has changed drastically since then. So that has also led to its dysfunctionality.
So, in spite of all this, do you think that the recommendation of the One Nation One Poll Committee is implementable, or the problems which they have envisaged, problems which they have apprehended, there is a solution to it as a political science student?
So the recommendations given by the committee are definitely, I think they are practical. However, there are some challenges, as you mentioned, such as the premature dissolution of the assemblies. The recommendation which the committee gives for that is to hold elections for the remaining time period. That may create a problem, not just the financial burden, but also the election fatigue which the voters may suffer, and the fair representation. But I think that with more solutions and more brainstorming on the issue, the government can come ahead with a solution on this.
Now, so far as non-aligned movement is concerned, India has been a propounder of that. What do you find that is it relevant in today's time?
So non-alignment in the context of India primarily means strategic autonomy. And the meaning of strategic autonomy has changed since the time when non-alignment movement was first founded. In the context of today, non-alignment would essentially mean, as our External Affairs Minister has also put it, it would be all alignment or multi-alignment that India is looking for.
Keeping the national interest paramount.
Yes, sir.
Good. Ashok ji.
साक्षी, आप इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस के स्टूडेंट हैं.
जी सर.
So China has a scheme, Belt and Road Initiative.
Yes.
India has some reservation about this project. What are the India's reservations? In spite of all the efforts of China, India has not joined this
Yes.
initiative.
So firstly, India is concerned about the real intention of China.
Real
as-
intention, good point. Yes, what is that intention?
So because China says that it wants to ensure the development of the countries which become participants in it, but time and again it is being seen that the countries which get involved, they face some sort of issues. For example, economic debt burden, that has become an issue now, and China says that it
emerged later.
Yes, sir.
What was the initial this thing?
So
Reservation.
Sir, initially the CPEC corridor which China, Pakistan have, that was one issue. It violates India's sovereignty in the Kashmir region, and also India believes that China is looking to encircle or surround India.
Belt and Road Initiative. It is not restricted to Pakistan.
Yes.
India has some core problem with this initiative.
Yes. Sir, as far as I am able to think, I think it is with respect to China trying to...
In the context of international relations, what we understand by strategic depth. Like Pakistan will never allow India to have strategic depth in Afghanistan.
Right.
Have you understood me?
Yes. So strategic depth could mean the presence of a country in another country and its huge influence, not just politically, economically, but also in terms of the soft power which it can have and the people-to-people relations and the strong ties between two countries.
Okay. So now connect strategic depth with BRI.
So with BRI, China is looking for strategic depth in a lot of countries and in the region. World.
And India says that it is not a pure economic activity.
Yes, sir.
Or infrastructure promotion activity.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Anyway, so think of this China-Pakistan economic corridor. India has some reservation on the issue that it passes through Pakistan-occupied Indian territory.
Yes.
What is that territory?
So it's called as the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir.
That is POK.
Yes.
Pakistan-occupied Kashmir.
Yes.
There is some other territory also.
So the Gilgit-Baltistan region.
Gilgit?
Baltistan.
Okay. Gilgit-Baltistan and
POK.
POK.
Yes.
There is some other term also for POK.
So
POJK.
Okay.
What is
Pakistan
that?
occupied Jammu
and Kashmir.
Right.
Because they are occupying some part of Jammu province, they are occupying some part of Kashmir province and Baltistan and
Gilgit.
entirely.
Yes.
Okay. Historically, Baltistan and what is that other?
Gilgit.
It was part of which territory? Now, it is part of which territory? Which Indian territory?
So as far as I am able to recall, it was a part of Ladakh.
Okay, fine. That's good answer. Now come to the original discussion that we had on BRI.
Yes.
So you answered something. There was some exchange of views.
Yes.
Now come to the CPEC, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. What is China aiming by this corridor, other than their so-called infrastructure development in Pakistan?
Sir, as you mentioned, China is seeking strategic depth in Pakistan as well as military.
We have discussed that.
So military presence as well.
We have discussed the problem which India has because it is violating India's sovereignty.
Yes.
What is the aim? What is Pakistan aiming by this corridor?
So Pakistan's aim?
China aiming by this corridor.
So with this, China can also get access to some crucial ports and also seek to be present in a very strategic location which is also nearby India.
Pakistan will get connection to Arabian Sea.
Yes, China will get access to
It will.
China will get access.
Yes, sir.
China will get direct route to Arabian Sea. So Pak Strait wala khatam ho jayega.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Please. This is all what strategic depth here and there.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Sakshi, this is your first interview and
Yes.
second exam.
Yes, sir.
But mains is also first.
Yes, sir.
Right. You are a brilliant candidate. Your political science knowledge is very impressive.
Thank you, sir.
Extremely impressive. You can hold yourself beautifully and your depth of knowledge is absolutely remarkable.
Thank you, sir.
I think you should do extremely well. There are situations where it's not so easy to describe. I mean, you looking at Asian century part, there is an equally strong view that China does not want any other country. So I was trying to gently nudge you in that direction. China doesn't want equality with us.
Right.
So you need to be a little bit more realistic. How India, in a relatively weaker situation, economically speaking, area, territory, and historical growth, and their political model, 3 times larger in economy and all that, with India's so many vulnerability within, may not be able to match China. You know, it's
Yes.
like a power game. You know, diplomacy is all nothing to do with just the power.
Yes.
How you wield your power internationally to push your own agenda. So Asian Century, fine, it is good to kind of console us that we are part of the Asian Century, but you need to be realistic and defend yourself correctly, which you have done. You know, the disengagement was a good sign, but still more to be seen, how
Yes.
far China will behave. It just happened, some people say because Trump has arrived, China got the signal. China still has to go many obstacles. You know,
Yes.
how Trump will deal with China is a thing to be seen.
Yes.
60% tariff he's threatening. Actually, what he will do, he says he's the world's best negotiator, this, that and all. What he will give to China, what he will take in return. China has established 1 trillion surplus. You know, I mean,
Yes.
China is manufacturing capital of the world. Nothing, I mean, despite Western media writing that economy is slowing down, demography is declining,
Yes.
China is in trouble, one should not take any of those things, what is happening. So you need to form and formulate, but your political understanding is excellent and you should be able to sail through. Although I don't know how you did in your written exam, I'm sure you must have done, because it shows your knowledge and depth shows that written also you must have done extremely well in English.
Thank you, sir. I
So
hope
wishing
so.
you all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
You're brilliant, you're very good, your understanding of national and international issues is correct. We did not question you much on the economic issues, so just brush up that knowledge also.
Yes.
Where do we stand, what's our GDP, the budget,
Yes.
how it is figuring, right? Unemployment percentage going up in India, right? Are we losing on democratic dividend,
Yes.
right? So all these things you should be well prepared
Right.
on this. So you are doing pretty well. So if you keep this confidence and this demure, I'm sure there is nothing to, no reason that you should lose, right?
Thank you, ma'am.
Absolutely.
That's absolutely fine. Not to reiterate what has already been said. You are brilliant and absolutely ready for success
Thank you,
in
sir.
this interview. Yes, your interview is on
28th February.
28th February. By that time, the budget, etc., will come. So
Yes, sir.
get familiar with because we have not asked you any question on economic affairs as such. So be ready for those. And just go through your hobbies and the extracurricular activities
Yes.
which you have given here. We have not asked on most of it. So be very sure about
Yes.
that there could be supplementary questions on what you have given.
Yes, sir.
So be thorough on that.
Yes.
Otherwise, all success yours.
Thank you, sir.
Well, when there is a question, you don't have a ready-made answer in your mind, take time. If necessary, you can take permission of the board. Please give me time.
Yes.
10 seconds, 5 seconds. Okay? And then give a good answer.
Okay, sir.
जरूरी नहीं कि तुरंत जवाब दें,
Okay, sir.
उसमें फिर गड़बड़ हो जाएगा, इम्पोर्टेंट बात छूट जाएगी, यार आप अपनी बात को ठीक से कन्वे नहीं कर पाएंगे,
Yes.
एम्फेसिस गलत जगह चला जाएगा. All right?
Right. Thank you,
All
sir.
the best.
Thank you, sir.